Today in our spotlight, President Biden is on his way back from his trip to the Middle East, where he emphasized unwavering U.S. support for Israel. This as the humanitarian crisis inside Gaza is growing, and protests are taking place around the world with fears that the conflict will widen. I want to bring back my panel here, Mike Muse and Asma Khalid, along with ABC News contributor and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, Mick Mulroy, and ABC News senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez. Thank you all for being here with us. And Louis, starting with you here, the U.S. and Israel officials there are really up against the clock right now to rescue these nearly 200 hostages that were taken by Hamas. Have your sources spoken at all about their best options to save, not only the victims that are from the United States, but also the foreign victims, the Israelis as well?
Kano, I think we're talking about maybe 200 individuals who have been seized by Hamas as part of those ground assaults. And you're right, they are up against the clock because they're trying to determine exactly where they might be. And once they figure out where they are, they're trying to determine, well, how best to get them out. We do know that there have been some ground incursions, some probes, if you will, that have been carried out by some elite forces from the Israeli Defense Forces. But they're looking for them, but they haven't found them yet. But the really big question is, what do you do when you do find them? And I think that's really the question that has to be asked. That's what we were talking about yesterday, about the potential for negotiations, possibly that those civilian women and children who were not Israeli might be released. That's something that is up for discussion, and that's something that we're hearing from multiple sources about multiple governments being involved in trying to put the pressure on to maybe make that a reality. So far, it hasn't happened. That's why the effort to try to find these individuals continues. But once again, once you do find them, the next step becomes even much more complicated and potentially very dangerous for those involved, both as hostages and as rescue efforts.
Absolutely, Louis. And Mick, to you, the Biden administration has also announced measures against Iran's missile program. So we know that many of these missiles and these UAVs, they fall into the hands of Iranian militant proxies like Hamas, like Hezbollah. So what impact could these new measures make when it comes to this war?
So, Kana, they certainly do fall into the hands of groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. In fact, Hamas's military wing is funded 90% by Iran. So anything that the administration can do to make it more difficult for them to transfer weapon systems, especially the more advanced ones, to these groups is good. And sanctions, although they haven't stopped to date, certainly don't hurt. So I think it's a good idea they're doing that, and anything we can do to prevent these groups from being able to attack countries like Israel, the better.
And Mike, as this war grows, people on both sides, or people that are even living in other parts of the world, right now are saying enough is enough, and they're protesting and they're asking for a ceasefire. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think that's the boiling point that we're reaching, not only boiling point of conflict of the region of the Middle East, but also to a boiling point of where the public and society is on when the war and the conflict meets humanitarian needs. I was very pleased today to hear that President Biden's aid package of $100 million to Palestinians to offer relief and humanitarian aid and assistance, in particular in the light since he was unable to meet with the leaders in the Middle East due to what we saw that happened, the fortunate incidents regarding the hospital. And so that way it showed a two-sided approach that, one, he's standing with Israel, our strongest ally, while at the same time looking at the humanitarian aspect of the Palestinians.
Right, and having a phone call, as we just learned earlier, with the president of Egypt, who says, yes, we will open up this border. They have 20 trucks waiting, and as Selena reported, they have to fix some potholes before they can get those in there, but it seems to be moving. Asma, to you, here at home, the Senate held this hearing to confirm former Treasury Secretary Jack Lew as the new U.S. ambassador to Israel. So the GOP... Yeah, so Asma, the GOP really grilled him, though, about his role in lifting sanctions against Iran as part of a nuclear deal, and that was, during his stint under the Obama administration.
That's right. And the Iran nuclear deal has long been a lightning rod for many Republicans, I would say, in Congress, many Republican presidential candidates as well. I mean, ultimately, I think that Jack Lew, there's an urgency to get him confirmed. And I would say some Senate Republicans certainly feel that urgency. Many Senate Democrats do as well, with a potential ground invasion likely to begin soon. I think that, most folks in the Senate understand that. But certainly there was a lot of political jockeying today around the Iran nuclear deal and around Jack Lew's role in the Obama administration.
Oh, certainly. All right. Asma, Mike, Mick, and Louis, thank you all. We appreciate your time.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.